Mack Rhoades opted to zig where others zagged on Black Sunday in college football. Several other coaches around the country, including around the state of Texas, got their pink slips, but Baylor chose to bring back Dave Aranda following a disappointing 3-9 season. So being patient with college football coaches is not really the norm today in college football. I mean, and this was definitely an unpopular decision among a lot of Baylor fans. So now Aranda is really under the gun. What kind of record do you think Baylor needs for him to make it to a 6th season? Zach, start us off here.
I think at minimum he needs to go to a bowl game. That's the floor. And
which is mediocrity. I mean, it's 6-6. You can get there,
but it's improvement. I mean, it's hard to get any worse than you were this year, but it's improvement,
right?
You know, and yeah, I think minimum it's a bowl game, but I think really, and we've talked about this before, I know on the pod before, with Texas and Oklahoma leasing, there is an opportunity for whoever is going to be the big dog to step up, and I don't think Baylor is going to do that in 1 year, but Aranda and others have been very open that this freshman class is going to win a Big 12 title. And I think that going further than a bowl game and just like seeing kind of a clear path to what you're building and having a big picture end goal in mind, I think that's a kind of a thing that maybe fans and maybe Mack has kind of his eyes set on, like, all right, next year, maybe it's a bowl game. Then the year after, maybe it's pushing for the Big 12 title. Like, I think as long as there's some progression, I think Aranda is going to be okay. But, we'll see what I say next year.
Yeah, Keff, when you were, I'm sure on Sunday, things were probably popping up on your phone and stuff, when that news pops up that Baylor's retaining Dave Aranda, what was kind of your reaction?
Well, I would be lying if there weren't a ton of people around San Marcos that look at that. I mean, we talked about it the last time I was on the pod, the connection that Kenny has with his dad being at Baylor, he has a sister who graduated from Baylor. There's a lot of connections there. So it was like, if that job opens up, of course, it's going to raise a lot of alerts. But I think it's even more interesting that Dave Aranda is on this prove it deal, because I'm with Zach. Bowl game for sure. I think you bring in somebody like Spavital and you want the offense to be more exciting. So I think that plays into it too. An exciting brand of ball plus a bowl eligibility, winning record. I think that would be pretty big for him. But if it doesn't work out for Dave Aranda and Kenny does have another successful season at Texas State, 7-5 is successful here for the record. Then I think that will be, I think then if Baylor does move on from Aranda and that job is open, I think that's more likely that Kenny would get looked at. It being this year, I don't know if Baylor would look at 7-5, look at 1 year. He's 35 years old, or he's about to be 35. He's not even 35 yet, like a couple days away. He's a younger guy. So maybe they're wouldn't have been quite ready to make that move, but who knows 2024 how that all plays out. So it'll be interesting to watch this whole thing develop.
Yeah, I said on the pod here recently that I think any good athletic director always carries around, maybe it's a note on their phone, maybe it's an actual piece of paper that has a short list just in case something happens, and I bet I would be safe in betting that GJ Kenny is probably on that list, of Mack.
Probably on a few, honestly, not just Mack.
Yeah, for sure. He's a coach on the rise.
But he loves Texas, so
yeah, exactly.
If it's Baylor, he's going to look at that for sure.
Yeah, exactly. And like you said, the Baylor connections. You guys mentioned, obviously the offense has to get better, but especially with Aranda taking over defensive play calls, I mean, the defense better show a lot of improvement too, because it was statistically it was even worse than the offense this year. Now, I actually think the offense's failures sometimes led to the defensive failures. It all was one big toilet bowl spiral, basically. But there you go.